tonight we have a new guest. Every guest is new, and this one is Bruno. Bruno, who the fuck are you?
I love your language. You know, I'm the same. My name is Bruno. I'm Bruno Mazzini. I'm a Peruvian, Italian, I guess. I have an Italian passport. Moni was just telling me that I have rights here. I do. Luckily, I'm a business student slash intern and by day and comedian by night and by heart. I guess that's my real thing. What I'm trying to do with my life.
So you are like a business guy. You are not an engineer.
No, 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 no.
What kind of business do you do?
Right now, I'm working at a food delivery company.
What kind of food do you deliver?
Groceries.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
one of the two.
Yeah. You need to keep it generic, right?
Uh-huh,
You need to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
it
yeah.
generic. Yeah. But it's not. It's. I think I told you before. It's not a long term plan. You know, I would burn out and I would need need some sick leave.
You are already like haven't started a job already. You already planning for your burnout.
Yeah, I'm you know, I'm setting the stage, getting everyone mentally prepared for when I like go into the office and like just break a table or something.
I don't think you should communicate now before you get a permanent contract, because now you are just wanting everyone to not hire you.
True. This was a joke. I am comedian, and anything that is bad for my CV is a joke, and should be taken as such.
And what did you study?
I studied business for my bachelor's, and then now I'm doing a master's in strategy and international management.
What do you like your study?
Yes and no. Like I've lost the interest in the academic study of business. Like,
Did you like it from the first place?
No, fuck no. At the beginning.
You were like, I lost the interest. Then you turns out you never liked it.
No. I never liked the way it was taught business because I think it's super practical. I'm still interested. You know, I'm still interested in how to organize things and like create value for people. You know, because in the end, I see business as one person can never do what a big group of people do, right? That's just it. Business is an organization with the purpose of making money, right? But I don't like when I was studying it and I mean my master's was a lot better than my bachelor's in terms of how interesting the classes were, but in reality I could tell that I wasn't passionate about it, you know?
I also studied business. I think there are lots of lost souls there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they don't know what they like in life, so it's just so easy to study business.
Yeah, it's the old reliable in South America at least. Is I don't know what to do, just business, and then you're like, okay, consulting or finance, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm 40 and I hate my life, you know. And
How old are you?
24. So
Do you already hate your life?
I'm actually fucking happy. Like
Really?
yeah, I am. I'm sad, but I'm happy. Like, I found comedy, you know, and I can't complain. And it's hard because like I went back to therapy recently, and I was telling my psychologist about it, and he was like, "So you're working two jobs?" And I was like, "Basically, you know, like, I mean." If you want to be good and you want to get better at comedy, you have to do as many mics as possible, and then you have to write, and then you have to rehearse, and then you have to stay until later, talk to comedians, watch them as well, has helped me a lot. Like watching other comedians helps me a lot, and then you have the buzz, or at least me personally, I get a lot of energy from socializing with people that I find interesting. So then even if I leave a show at 10:30, I can't sleep until 1 a.m. So it's like I'm working from 9 to 6, maybe a little bit later, then writing, then rehearsing, then shows until like 1 a.m., go to sleep and do it all over again. So I'm exhausted, like I'm very, very tired, but I'm happy because otherwise, like, what was plan B, you know? Staying with business, something that every time I looked at my future, I was like, fuck, I might kill myself. You know? Not really, but maybe, you know. I used to have this joke that I told my mom, like not like a joke, but just something that I would say. I would be like, she would be like, Bruno, you're so making the family so proud and blah blah blah. You're gonna be so successful. And I would be like, Mom, I'm this close to just quitting everything and going selling bracelets to some random beach, you know, just begging for money or something like that at the beach and smoking weed all day. And I found comedy, so now I don't have to sell bracelets at the beach. But
Probably you still need.
I still need
Yeah,
to go.
because it's comedy. Like, how much
Yeah.
money do you expect?
I don't know. I think business has made me see it. Business and being a minimalist has made me think that I can survive from this in a medium term. Like I think if you enjoy what you do, you don't need to spend that much money because your job is fun, basically. And at least now I feel like every time I go to a gig, I'm having so much fun. Even if the comedians that are there, I don't find that funny. I just laugh at them not being funny. So I don't know. I enjoy it, and then I'm like, okay, if I stick to what I need, I can spend like 1,000 or 900, even a little less if I can find better rent. But it's Berlin, so I can never rely on that. So if I spend 1,000 a month, that's 250 a week that I need to make off of gigs. And I think if you host 3 or 4 gigs a week, you can make that depending on how well you do.
It's way more than that. If you host 4 of them per week, of course it's more than 250.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. Like all you need to do is that, and then you can survive, and you're surviving, right? But that allows you to focus 100% on comedy, and that's my goal. Like I think as soon as I can do it 100%, and I mean it's gonna be gradual, right? It's not gonna be tomorrow I do 100% comedy, but the more time I can put into it, the more energy I can put into it, the more I can write, the more I can experiment without the fear of getting fired, you know. Like right now, for example, I don't think I would put out anything on YouTube or things like that, like, and promote it too much because it feels like I still need a corporate job with the people, the regular people, you know, the non weirdos of this world. But once I quit, I feel like I can fully embrace my
Sexuality.
my sexuality. You know, I can come out as a zoophiliac.
Zoophiliac? Oh yeah, you were talking about the one to have sex with my dogs.
No. Context. I was in the elevator and Moni accused me of wanting to fuck her dog, which is very cute, by the way, but not like that. You know, I'm in a relationship
With a dog?
with a person.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
So what's your mental issues?
All of them. No, fuck, insecurity, I guess. Insecurity, judging myself too much. I don't have too many good terms for this, I guess. I mean, intense, I guess it was more when I was a kid. I think I've gotten a handle in the last 5-6 years. When I was a kid, I was fucked up. Like, I don't remember anything. I think I told you this before, but I don't remember anything chronologically, at least from when I was like 6 to when I was 11. Like I don't know what happened when, and I was just like feeling like shit all the time because
how come as a child you were feeling shit?
I was bullied in school and at home.
Where were you?
In Peru.
Okay.
My sister was also having her own issues, and she was taking them out on me pretty intensely. By now we have like aired it out and we get along super well. But back then, no, like I would just come home to Bruno, you're a piece of shit. Bruno, nobody likes you. Bruno, you're stupid.
Oh, how old were her?
2 years older than me, so when I was 6, she was 8. And continuing with that. So, of course, I believed her. Like, I would just here I'm stupid. And she was
Right.
no, but like she was smart and she was dedicated in school, which back then was the only measure, I guess. And I was too, you know. But she was doing better than me, so I would always take it with like, oh, maybe it's true, and that kind of fucked with me a lot. Then I didn't really learn how to interact with people. I mean, not all the blame is in my sister. I was also just a socially awkward person, I guess. But yeah, I just spent a lot of time not knowing how to talk to people without trying to be funny. Actually, that was my first approach to comedy. Like, hey guys, like me, please. I guess, because I don't know, I liked comedians so much, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll be funny, and then people, maybe I have a friend or two, you know, hopefully, and it didn't work out. I switched schools when I was like 12, I guess. Yeah, maybe 12. It got a little better in the new school, but I still didn't know how to interact. So it went really quickly from, oh look, this kid is new and he's nice, to what the fuck, Bruno keeps fucking up or keeps saying things he shouldn't say or whatever, and yeah, that was also rough. But then I mean, I had gone to therapy my whole life, kind of, but
You mean your whole life? You mean from when?
from, I don't remember, from like, again, those times in my life are a bit of a blur, but like, I guess on and off since I was like 8.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom was super progressive about that, and
Wow.
super nice. Yeah. But it didn't really help at the beginning. I think it started helping more when I did it 13, 14, and I got my first epileptic attack at 13 as well, and it's not something that happened often. It happened like 3 times a year or something back then.
That's not often?
No, there's some kids that have like 5 a week, 10 a week, or something
Wow.
like that. They die. They end up dying from taking so many pills.
Oh.
It's really bad. Yeah. But anyway, for me it was fine, and now it doesn't happen almost at all. It happens like, I don't know. Last one was like 5 years ago, and before that 4 years. So by now it's fine. But like combining puberty, learning how to feel normal, and not feeling normal because now I have seizures, was really not a good combination for my puberty, I guess. And yeah, those were the worst times, I guess. And back then I really was chasing normality, I guess. I just wanted to be a person, you know. I wanted to feel like I couldn't, like, everything I did wasn't wrong, which is kind of a constant, I guess, that I still fight, right? Because when I do comedy, I was telling you before as well, I always feel like it has to go well, and I put that pressure on myself. And in a way, it's because I feel like I'm gonna get judged if it's not great, which is,
no one cares about it.
yeah, nobody gives a fuck. I'm not even memorable. I'm trying to write this joke about a guy from my work that went to one of my shows, and when he told me, I was like, fuck, this guy is gonna be like mad at something I said, because I say some shit that probably is not work appropriate. Not that bad, but not work appropriate. And then he was like, hey, I remember that you said you look Egyptian, and I'm Egyptian, so I thought that was funny. So the only thing he remembered of my set was this random comment about my face, and not any of my jokes. And I was like, damn, I'm too boring to get cancelled right now. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to deal with that, I guess, still, but to a lesser extent, you know. Like, I think that idea of normality was what pushed me to business as well. Like, I was like, fuck it, business is objective. I did find it interesting, but objectively is like something that you are either successful at or not, right? So I was like, fuck it, let's just go do business, which works, and I can get good grades and go to a good company, and then I'll be a regular functional person. But then I realized I'm not fucking a regular person. I'm very anti-regularity. So that, in a way, it worked out, you know, because I went to business schools, I got good grades, I felt comfortable with myself, comfortable enough to say I don't like this enough to do it with the rest of my life. And I started learning how to interact with people, and that's why I say that now my mental state is a lot better, because I feel like I can function. You know, for a lot of my life, I felt like I was very very close to just like dying.
Since when you start to feel you can function?
Um I would say second or third year of university, maybe. In Peru, the bachelor's lasts 5 years, six sometimes, because we do a lot of internships while we study. We like take classes at 7 in the morning and at 7 p.m. and in between we go to work. So I don't know. I would say when I went on exchange for the first time, I went to Portugal, and that helped out a lot. Because I don't know, I was getting good grades at university, I was making friends, uh, but then I went on exchange and I met people from like very different places with very different mindsets, and I felt like I was understood by very different people from very different parts of the world, and they didn't really have this competitive mentality that they had in Peru, and I was like, fuck it, it's okay to not be number one at everything, and then I realized that I was functional, because I think I was before. I just didn't notice it, right? Like I had been doing well at a lot of things. I just couldn't accept it, I guess, and I think to a certain extent I still don't. But it's better. Yeah, but when I was on exchange, I just enjoyed my life, and I did what I had to do, and I didn't over like push myself unnecessarily, and things still turned out all right. Like I was going out every day and like chilling with friends, and like having coffee and conversations after class instead of like studying, and I still did well, like not crazy well, but well enough in class. So I was like, fuck, I can handle life, you know. I'm a person, and
Are you?
I think so. I hope. I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah.
So you said you when you were younger you wanted to be normal. What make you feel you were not normal?
Back then,
Yeah.
I felt like everything I did was wrong. Like everything I did, like from talking to people to 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 doing well in an exam but not perfect, was not enough. You know, it was a disappointment to someone, or just a nuisance to anyone.
Is it people around you telling you you are wrong, or is you feel this way?
I mean, my sister definitely reminded me constantly. I think my dad was also very excellence driven, I guess, achievement driven, and like he would always be like, when I got good grades, yeah, Bruno got good grades, next time a little better, haha. I guess he was trying to motivate me, but it didn't work. uh, then people from school also telling me that I was doing wrong just every time I talked, and and then it eventually sticks to you, right? It
You
becomes
mean you talked you were wrong? Is mean you were awkward, or you mean?
awkward. I was trying to be funny, and I clearly wasn't. I was just trying to have a friend, you know. I was trying to make a connection with any single human being possible, and it wasn't working. Yeah.
I feel it kind of like sounds like me in the past. I think like for example I grew up also with a very low self-esteem, but it's because my family was really underprivileged, um, and I people around me they are just way more privileged, and I was a fat kid, and
Oh, me too.
my mechanism was like to be funny, but people now recall back I was already like trying to be funny, I trying to do material, But at that time, like no one knows what I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing, and people will end up being mad at me, saying that I'm exaggerating things, don't trust me, and now thinking back, yeah, I was exaggerating things because I was
Just trying to be
joking.
entertaining. Yeah.
In that culture, people don't value the quality of humor. In China, for being a kid, for being a human, the one of the best qualities you can have is to be serious. Like a serious kid
Oh
is
my
a
god.
good kid.
Fuck my life.
And so I feel it's just lots of combination, but one of a reason is that just that environment is not nurturing for personality type like me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have died in China. Like I really, I'm not a serious person at all, and I think I would have fucked that up. But yeah, I think it's similar. I would say I was privileged for sure compared to most Peruvians, but I was surrounded by even more privileged people. So that did make me feel poor at times when I know that it's the stupidest thing I could think because I had every opportunity that I needed in my life. But I did feel like a poor person, like a I don't know, like you don't feel useful. And then for me, being funny was a way to try to get attention because I like and I like I don't like this idea of attention seeking. Like comedians just try to be the star of the show, but and now when I do comedy, that's not my mindset. But back then, I just didn't have any friends. You know, I didn't have any connection with anyone that I could feel like I could talk to. So I was like just looking to make someone smile and be like,
When is your first time to be able to make a real close friend?
oh fuck, good question. So I had a childhood friend from like the day I was born, basically, but we never talked too much about deep stuff. He just like defended me from my sister sometimes, and we would do a lot of stuff together. So disclaimer, he might listen to this. He was my first friend, but we didn't really talk about deep stuff until a lot later. I would say my first friend probably was like around the fifth or sixth grade. So I was like 11, 12, and there was this kid on the beach. Like, and my uncle had a beach house, and we would go on the summers. And this guy, he was weird as fuck, like just super weird, super interesting, and he's an artist now. I'm not too sure what he's doing because we actually ended up fighting. But he was super weird, and I felt like I could say anything with him, and I just like eventually when I changed high schools, I went to the high school he was in, not because of him, but it definitely was a nice influence to know he was there. And yeah, he just was a lot more open to hear my mistakes and to understand that I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was just not very good with words sometimes, I guess.
And I think I read a book called Loneliness, like how loneliness can have a profound impact on one's mental and physical health. I feel like um, because I was really a lonely kid, that I was lonely at home, I was lonely at school, and going to school every day was like, if now I would call it a sick day, I will call in sick every day. I wouldn't go because it's so stressful, and you sit there and you don't even exist. And because of this, I think that's one of the reasons I feel like I cannot be a parent, because I would be worried so much for my children might be lonely at school.
Yeah, I feel you. You want to be the perfect parent, right? And especially when you had a shit childhood and you know what it's
Yeah.
like. I was gonna say, it feels worse to be lonely when you're surrounded by people. Like
Yeah.
when you're alone, and nobody listens to you and nobody pays attention to you, it's because you're alone, or at least you can tell yourself that. But when you go to school, or when you're in your house with your family and you're supposed to be listened to and supposed to have friends, but you don't, it's even worse. And now I say that smiling because I think it's funny. Like, it's funny how tough it is.
Yeah, it is.
But I remember I remember my hobby for a while was just to go to my room and listen to sad music.
Oh, at least you have music.
Fuck my life, Moni. I would have died in China.
I didn't even have music.
Thank you for surviving. Because,
Like my first friend was in high school, like a second year in high school, so it was really really late. And the issue was that is that also like when you are being lonely for too long, you are out of sync with other people. You don't know how to vibe with people. You don't know how to react, and then the gap become larger and larger. It's really really hard to feel. And at one point, like if it's not a miracle, really because of luck, it's really hard to find the connection, how to synchronize, how to connect with people. It's really tough.
yeah, I think I forced myself to do that. Like I was outgoing, I guess, and I wanted to talk to people, so I failed constantly from when I started.
So you even keep being rejected, you still try.
Yeah, like now people that meet me now as I am now, they're like, Bruno, you're super social, you can talk to anyone, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, now, you know. But like for the longest time, I was the guy who fucked up when I was saying hello. Like I didn't even know how to say hello to a person.
Then what would you say?
I don't know. I would try to make a joke from the start, and it would just be weird. Or I would like talk too much from the beginning, or I would say too personal things too fast, or ask too personal things too fast, and then not know where the limits
Like,
are.
oh, did you have diarrhea today?
Yes, but your dog had diarrhea, not you, right? Or both. Were your assholes in sync?
No, I ask you, did you have diarrhea today?
Okay, I did not, luckily. But I might. The night is young, you know.
Yeah. So how did you learn later how to talk with people, make friends?
Drinking. Drinking helped for sure. I like in Peru, people start going out and drinking very young, and I did that. So I guess that.
So when people are stupid, it's easier to vibe with them.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was a very horny person. So at the same time, and I was fat, so that didn't help. But I was just hitting on women constantly.
How fat were you?
I don't. I would say I weighed like at some point 60 kilos, but I was like 1 meter 40 or 1 meter 50. So my peak fatness was at like 15 or something like that. So I was really short and fat. I wasn't like obese or anything, but I had side you know, I didn't just have the belly, but I had the whole the whole thing. I had to buy larger shirts that now when I now they fit me now basically, and they fit me large now, the things that I was wearing when I was 14. And I hadn't hit puberty at 14, so that should tell you that I was not attractive basically, just very unattractive and still insistent on hitting on people. And that was also a great part of my failures, just like constantly talking to girls and saying something dumb or trying to say something funny or play it cool, which clearly does not work when you're attractive. When you're unattractive, it works when you're attractive. I have a friend from back when we were kids, and like we would go to a club and I would dance with a girl and talk to her and like really dance with her. And then at the end she would be like, no, and then he would be dancing with her friend or something, not say a single word, like barely dance, don't even make eye contact, and then he would end up hooking up with her, and I would be like, this hot motherfucker, like what the hell. But yeah, I just had to, I don't know, I had to, I think I had to feel normal. I had to feel like a fucking person that could do things. And actually, a lot of my last couple of years have been about, now that I feel like I can do anything that I want to do, what do I actually want to do, you know? And that's why I feel functional, because I've been like, okay, I don't actually like drinking that much, you know? So I've cut down on drinking a lot. Like, a lot of my friends think that because I go to bars all the time, I'm drinking. I like, most shows I don't even have a beer. Like, I have a mate or something like that, and or a soda, whatever. But I'm not that big of a fan of alcohol and how it makes me feel in the morning. So I just don't. Or I don't know. For example, for a while as well, I thought that I had to take every social commitment in life, because otherwise I wouldn't have friends, and all the friends that I had could disappear in a day. So I didn't know how to say no. Like, I would just go out every time and go everywhere and do everything. But now I'm like, I don't want to, you know. I want to stay home and watch a movie. I want to stay home, read a book. I want to go to a comedy show, you know. When I just arrived at Berlin, there were a lot of people from my masters that also moved to Berlin. And many times they were like, Bruno, let's go to a bar. And I was like, no, I want to go watch comedy. And they were like, we're not going to go. And I was like, okay, I can go alone. But the me from before wouldn't have the balls to say that, you know. Because these were the only people that I knew in Berlin when I arrived, basically.
And then now you're like, fuck them, I have comedy.
No, but I was like, they know I love them, you know. But I need to do what I really want to do, you know. I don't want to, like, I did it a couple of times that I didn't go to a show to be with them, and I felt like I wasn't mentally present, you know. So I think this is more philosophical, less about me personally, I guess, but more about what my journey has taught me. I think a lot of people do things because they feel like they have to do them, but they don't really have to. You know, I feel like people have created these whole like rules in their life that I have to do A, I have to do B, I have to do C, otherwise I won't be happy. But they haven't realized that they don't need to do that shit, and they can be happy. Like, when I see a cat lady, you know, I'm like, this bitch had the balls to do what she wanted to do with her life. You
What's
know?
cat lady?
Oh, you don't know the expression? A cat lady is someone who's like 70 and has 20 cats.
Oh, okay.
And is not married, and nobody knows what she does for money, but she just has 20 cats. You know, that's a stereotype. And everyone thinks of the cat lady as an old, lonely person. And I think about it as a lady who likes cats, you know. Fuck it. Why limit your cat amount, you know? Like, and I don't know. I feel like for many things, people put standards on themselves, you know. And I don't know. I see comedy as something I really like to do, and I don't need to make that much money off of it. I hope I do, you know. I fucking wanna be on Netflix, and I wanna have my own Chappelle show.
How long have you started comedy?
Since I started, like 2 months and a half or something.
Wow, you fall in love and you are committed quite fast, huh?
Yeah, I think so. When I know, I know.
How did you find out comedy?
I watched Saturday Night Live religiously when I was a kid, like just non-stop, because I didn't have plans on any Saturday night. I didn't have friends, so I just watched Saturday Night Live all the time, and I loved it. Like, I really thought it was super funny. I would follow all of the comedy movies that I could, and it just, I don't know, it felt like right to me. It felt also, it was my first way that I tried to talk to people. So in a way, I was always either trying to be funny or being funny, like every time.
Then how did you start to do comedy?
Stand up. So I read a book called The War of Art. 2 years, no, at the beginning of the pandemic, I read this book. That is basically a book that just super short, super practical. I really like it. Basically helps you navigate your own thoughts, and tells you, like, any life worth living is a life where you do what you like to do. And he asks you all sorts of questions like, what would you do if the world was empty? If there was no single person that you were trying to compare yourself with and be superior to, what would you be doing? And I was like, fuck, I would try to make jokes, but I would have no audience. But still, you know, I realized that I liked making other people smile, and I liked like expressing myself like that. And I was like, I need to do stand-up comedy. And but at that point I was watching a lot of specials. I had a bunch of favorite comedians already, and I was like, I need to do this, you know. And then pandemic, so I couldn't do it. Then I moved to Switzerland to start my masters, and I did actually 2 shows during my masters, because the town is a 60,000 people town, so there were no open mics or anything, but we had like an event for people in my masters, and I just went up there and did a set. I had written down some jokes, but I didn't rehearse them because I was like, fuck it, I'm like, everything I can come up with is too dirty and the faculty is gonna be there, you know. So I really couldn't do anything clean, and then I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And then my friend Florian, he's gonna be in Berlin this weekend probably, so I'll see him there, or no, he's not, whatever. he just got me drunk. He and another friend got me drunk, and then he was like, just do it. And I went up on stage and I did like 3-4 minutes of freestyle comedy, I guess, and it worked pretty well. Like I didn't cross too many lines, I guess. I did cross a couple that I got talked to afterwards, but I did okay. And then I did another set again at the end, at the closing party of my masters, because after the first year everyone just goes to different places, and then I wrote jokes. Again, I did not memorize them, and I bombed super hard. Like, the room was like, everyone was drunk, people were talking, and I wasn't good enough for a shitty room. You know, I'm still not good enough for a shitty room, but I just bombed super hard. So I don't know if I could count those, but during that time that I couldn't do real stand-up, I was still writing and being like, okay, I want to be a comedian, watching, reading some comedy books, reading some biographies from comedians. And then I got to Berlin, and I was walking to work, and I saw Cosmic, because it's like a block from my job, or 2 blocks from my job. And I saw Cosmic, and I went to a couple of gigs, and I was talking to Dar one night, and he was like, yeah, just sign up, you know. And then I met Joey, a comedian from LA, and we vibed. We became really close friends. We were hanging out, and then he was like, man, there's a show up to sign up on Tuesday, let's go. It was Tara's This Could Get Awkward. And I just went. I wrote from Sunday, when Joey told me to go, I wrote my first set. I wrote 5 minutes, because I kind of ignored all the material that I had written so far, because honestly I don't like it. I've reread it and I don't really like it. I don't know why. But I wrote 5 minutes from scratch from Sunday to Tuesday. I prepared, I went, and I did pretty well for a new person, I would say. And I got a lot of support from everyone that was there. And I was like, fuck it, I love this. Like, I really loved the action of doing comedy, the action of writing my thoughts and venting what I was feeling like. Because back then I was feeling a lot of pressure from work, and my whole set was work. Like 5 minutes straight of work jokes or work related jokes. And I think you could tell that I was very into it, and I was very connected to the topic I was talking about, and it felt so relaxing to be able to say the shit that I had in my mind for so long. And then the people too. I don't know. I like when I'm talking to comedians, I feel like it's so much easier to get along. And I mean, there's still comedians that I don't particularly love. You know. Let me start with my list. I'll pull it out. You know. And yeah, there's people I would still probably wouldn't be friends with, like close friends with, but just like as a community, you know, like it just fits my personality better. I think the life is about fit. Like not nobody like there's always a good fit for a person, you know. Like if you're outspoken, you might wanna look for a job where you need to speak up. If you get energy from people, don't get a fucking office job because at least get a sales job where you will talk to people. And as soon as I started hanging out with comedians, I felt like I fit, you know, and then it's just been like natural progression, I guess. Like because I was waiting for so long, I really wanted to fucking do it. So when I started, I just signed up to as many mics as I could, and that's what I've been doing so far. Like just signing up to everything, going to everything, doing like it's my priority in life right now. I'm pretty sure about it. It's
Have it happened before, like with other stuff?
not really, no, not like this.
It's interesting when I talk with comedians. Like many of them is like, oh, I never liked anything in my life until I found comedy. It's true for me, and it's true for many people. It's like I started comedy when I was 28, 27. Like I thought this is life. I didn't know I didn't like the things I was doing. Like I thought, oh, this is how it feels like. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
when you like something. Like I was trying to persuade myself, doing mental gymnastics, and look at the positive stuff. And
Yeah.
but once I had a comedy, I'm like, yeah,
This is
it's
it,
different. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm only 2 months and a half into it or something, and I don't wanna like also over pressure myself to make it into my life too fast. But it just feels right. It feels so natural. It feels like I don't know. I went on a trip to Portugal to visit my girlfriend like last week, basically. And still, while I was talking to her, I was like writing down concepts for jokes and like having ideas and just thinking about coming back home and taking the time to develop them into an actual bit, you know. And it just I don't know. It I don't know. People have a low standard of happiness. You know, I feel like so many people think that they just need to survive, and I finally found something where I can enjoy life. You know, like as you said, no need to do mental gymnastics. You know, there is there is very sometimes I need to pressure myself to write, and I wanna find a way to do it without pressuring myself. I wanna do it like out of the nature of my heart, but never to go to a show. Like to actually perform, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. At what time is this? Like I love it. Even when there's nobody in the lineup that I want to listen to, or even when I know everyone's jokes. Like if I have a lineup of people I've seen 7 times already each, I'll still be hyped to see if they changed a little of their act, to just see them and talk to them, and I don't know, it just feels supernatural. And comedians I don't see often, right? That's
Yeah, I think it's like a question we can ask ourselves is that if you like something, then if you are not getting paid, are you still going to do it? And I think for comedians, the answer is yes. But for my job, I would definitely not doing it if I'm not getting paid, and I'm still not doing it when I'm getting paid. So
that's your professional work avoider, right?
yeah. But for comedy, like I'm doing so much unpaid work, but I just love it. I enjoy it. So back to your mental health, like over the years, like did you get any like diagnose, like what do you have, or you just
No, I never did. And sometimes I feel guilty when I say that I was depressed because I never was diagnosed. But I felt like it. Like I felt like I was fucked. So I don't know. I feel like there's.
were you suicidal?
I thought about it many times, and I brought a knife to my room once and stared at it for a whole day, and nobody noticed. And then I just put it back. But that's as close as I got. And I remember thinking, yeah, like my mom would be sad. I can't do this. Like, just I've told my mom this story. I've told her like, yeah, you if you weren't so nice, I would be dead. And I think it's pretty true because I didn't like myself. I didn't have any friends who liked me.
So did you have other source of joy growing up?
Watching comedy
Okay.
and that's it. Yeah.
Did you try any other types of creative outlet?
Improv, I did for a bit and I really liked it. And then I really always wanted to do music, but the fear of failure stopped me from doing it. And right now I also want to try it, but I'm so focused on comedy. So maybe when I quit the job, like when I do comedy full time,
You don't have a job yet.
I have an
Really?
internship that I do. I work 40
Oh.
hours a week. So
Oh, okay, that's I mean you were talking about finding like a real job, like a high paid job.
yeah. But that's
You
after
I'm
the
like
intern.
you are still an intern. You are thinking about quitting your job already.
Yeah, I mean honestly, as soon as I can do comedy full time, that's the plan. Yeah, right. And then I won't have to, I will have free time for other stuff. But right now, basically, all the free time that I have is for comedy, or most of it. Yeah, most of it at least is for comedy. So I can't be like I'm also gonna learn guitar. I mean, I could do like an hour a week or some bullshit like that, but
That doesn't work.
yeah, I prefer to postpone it a little bit at least. But yeah, I didn't really do too much I started doing poetry when I was like 16 or something, because I had a crush on this musician girl, and she also wrote poems, and they were really good. So I started getting into poetry for that reason, and that was actually really helpful when I was feeling like shit. But that's it. I really I don't know, the fear of failure always held me back, because with a lot of art, you have to be shit to be good.
There's a book called The Artist's Way. Have you heard about it?
You recommended it to me already, and it's in my list.
It's really good. For example, now I'm organizing the Berlin Mental Health Festival. While doing it, more and more clear to me is that I really have to overcome my perfectionism. Because I realize by while doing it, I get so stressed to do so many things perfect, and it delayed me to actually doing things.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's better to have it done than not doing it.
Exactly.
And in order to be great, you have to be imperfect. You have to practice. You have to have the how do you say, the process.
Yeah.
But if you think about perfection, being perfect, then you will be too scared to actually practice. And it's a daily struggle. And but I think I'm getting much better than before.
It's the same for me. Today I had I worked out before coming here, but before I had a little bit of free time, and I was like, okay, I have 1 hour to write. But then it's like, oh, you have to write something really good. And then I'm like, okay, I'll finish this episode or whatever of what I was watching, and then I'll write. And then I'm like, 30 minutes? I only have 30 minutes to write. Is that enough to even write one decent joke? And you start to be like if you don't do it, if you're not in a way, it's easier for me to work 6 hours on writing, on a Saturday, than to do 30 minutes every day. Because 30 minutes every day, I feel like I'm gonna fuck it up. I feel like I'm gonna have this incomplete sensation, and then I prefer to just kick it off, and then on the Saturday I'm like, okay, 6 hours, then I will know that I can do it perfect. But in reality, it's just mental gymnastics, and it's kind of dumb,
But you understand, writing process, you cannot write you can, but most likely you need to write a free of conscious test first, and then you revisit it, then you craft it, you make it in jokes. But sitting there directly wanting to write jokes is unrealistic and gives yourself lots of unnecessary stress.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's stupid. I know how dumb it is.
Do you meditate?
I'm trying to again. Like last 2 weeks, I started to do it again, 15 minutes every day. But I still also overthink meditation. And yeah, I think it's good, but I don't know. It's also I have some back problems, so I like do it laying down
Until you're a baby, why you have back problems?
because I'm horrible like that, Moni. I'm a weak human being. I don't know. I really don't know, but I have a like lower back pain, and I've read some studies that it's actually gonna happen to most people just because of the desk lifestyle. Uh, but yeah, sometimes it's easier for me to lay down when I meditate. But then my mind is like, Bruno, you're such a bitch. Why are you not sitting down like a proper meditating person? And then I criticize myself for that. I mean, I'm still doing it, and I think I'll get over it at some point.
Have you read books about how to dealing with your inner voice? Because sounds like you have lots of inner voice going on.
I've talked to my psychologist about it, to my therapist. I've never read books on it though. I'm yeah. My inner voice tells me to read more productive books.
Yeah, because like you need to learn ways of communicate with your inner voice. Because now it sounds like your inner voice are giving you lots of shit, and you are just taking all the shit and not like dealing with it, and not like calm it down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
There are lots of techniques like
if you recommend a book, I'll read it for sure.
simple type best books dealing with inner voice. Then you'll see a list, and then copy paste everything to Goodreads to see the which one has the most
Best
rating
reviews.
and highest rating. Then buy it.
Okay, perfect.
Anyway, so you said you did therapy for the most of your life. What type of therapy were you doing?
Just regular talking to a psychologist.
Okay,
Getting,
so you were doing psychoanalysis.
I guess so.
That's probably why it didn't work for you. Like it sounds like you didn't learn anything from it.
I feel like I've learned a lot though. I feel like I'm a very self-aware person of my mistakes. At least that's step number one.
Did they teach you any tools?
Not really, not really. It was more about helping me explore and understand what was going on. And I think I've gotten pretty decent at that. Like I analyze myself really easily. Like I know why I'm fucking up, and in a lot of ways I correct it, but in many others I don't.
You know, I think that's the issue of psychoanalysis. Like they analyze so much, but they don't teach you tools. Like it's like I know those shit, but I don't know how to deal with it. Like, I think that's not so constructive. I really recommend you to go check some tools because, I can see that you have issues. You know you have issues, but you don't know how to deal with it. Like for all the like inner voice and this kind of stuff.
I mean, I agree with you, and I for sure want to learn some tools. But at the same time, I'm of the mind that I'm dealing with a lot of things. Like I'm dealing is more about action than like too many tools can also distance you from the fact that it's just your life, you know, and it should be kept in the big picture somehow. I think. Like,
I think you sound like just like reject something you don't even know.
No. I like.
Like for example, like I didn't know I have ADD until maybe like 2 months ago, and because I didn't know I have it, so I never learned tools about it. And since I know it, I start to look for tools, and I adopt a few techniques. And since then, like the last 2 months is the most productive period of my life. I never feel I'm so on top of everything, and I feel I finally live up to my potentials, and I have so much control over myself, my action and my emotions, and I'm so much more stable than before. I had a breakup last week, and it's the most serious relationship I ever had. We are together for 3 years, and when it happened, I was like really, really shocked. But I stabilized myself like really, really fast. I'm really, really impressed by myself.
That's
And
good.
without all the tools I learned, there's no chance I behave like this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I am rejecting the tools without thinking about it too much. I would say that I have gravitated towards a lot of tools naturally, just like meditating every morning, trying to set up a consistent routine at some point in my day, which for me is mornings. I like to journal
Yeah, that's very
and
good.
meditate and stretch. Actually, I really like stretching because apparently it helps a lot with blood flow and things like that. And it also makes me feel like I'm taking care of my body even if I don't get a real workout in like later in the day. It's just like keeping some mobility, some decency to your body, you know. Um, but yeah, maybe more tools would be good.
I don't think it's more tool. It's the
The
tools
right
really
tools.
work for you.
Okay, yeah, that could be. The thing is, and maybe this is just a bias, but I've seen too many people that are just over analyzing themselves and collecting tools basically, and they think they have really great mental health because of that. And I'm like, you like you don't, I don't know, you don't seem like you do, you know. Like
They were like,
I,
oh, says Bruno.
I don't want to be a dick, but like if you keep,
When you say I don't want to be a dick, you are going to be a dick.
yeah,
Just like
happens.
I don't want to say any. I don't want to be rude.
Raised,
You are going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
rude.
I mean, the thing is like if like in the end these tools are just tools for life, right? And psychology and all of this is just a means to live a better life. So I try to focus on living a better life, you know? And I try to understand why I'm fucking up, you know? And then I try to put it into action. As you said, maybe my putting into action part would be a lot better if I had the right tools. But my wariness maybe comes from the collectors, the tool collectors, you
And
know?
the tool, not only I mean about how you do things, but also how to talk with yourself and manage the like different thoughts and recognizing what's happening in your brain and uh, how to say uh, negotiate with your own thoughts and
Yeah.
to make peace with yourself. They are also tools, like they are not physical tools,
Yeah,
but
I get you, I
yeah,
get you. Like techniques and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think, yeah, that personally, I could be very wrong until I get more informed. But right now, I think that the diagnostic part, I have it down. Like, I know that I'm fucking up, even while I'm fucking up. I just, yeah, don't. Sometimes I don't actually know how to stop myself from fucking up, and I should. Yeah, I mean, damn. Everyone is a work in progress, and I don't know. I'm really happy with my progress, and that's right now what I'm trying to focus on. Like I've had the not yeah the last couple of weeks, I guess I haven't had great shows doing comedy. They haven't been bad, but they haven't been great, and or they haven't even been as good as I would have wanted them to be, and. And it pissed me off, right? Because I started off well, I improved decently fast at the beginning, and then as soon as I hit a lower point, I was like, what the fuck, you know?
You know, you see, there are tools can deal with
Exactly, and what I'm doing right now is reminding myself of all the things that I've done so far that I'm proud of. And I'm like, Bruno, you started your own mic, like you've been running it for a month now. It's increasingly getting better. Bruno, you haven't stopped. You know, just not stopping is something I'm really grateful for because I've struggled with consistency with other things in my life, and with comedy, it's not. Like it's not been a struggle. Sometimes the writing part, but like going and showing up to mics non-stop. So I'm trying to remind myself of that. Those might be tools, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, anything that helps. My only problem with these things is right now I want to read comedy books. I'm reading some like philosophy-ish books that I'm really interested in. And then adding another category would be like, damn. I don't know, maybe I'm typical, right? You perfectionist, you're like, you can't just read one book about tools dealing with inner voices. You feel like you have to read 30, and maybe that's just makes it worse at the beginning. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going in the right direction, and I think I'm like starting up therapy. I just started back like 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
And that's something I'm happy with. Maybe I'll ask my psychologist about some tools. And I'll cross reference your technique with him. You know, I'll send him the list and be like, which ones are your favorite, and see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not there yet. Like I'm not at a point where I feel like I'm reaching my full potential. I'm not at a point where I feel like I'm.
You are only 24.
Yeah, exactly. I'm only
Like
20.
you want to die
Yeah.
when you are 30 or something?
No,
full
exactly. I'm
potential?
happy. I'm happy with where I'm at, and I know I can get happier, and I want to trend in that direction. But I also think one of the steps to be happier is to be more satisfied. You know, one of my biggest problems is that I pressure myself to improve too much, too fast. You know, and that's unreasonable and unnecessary. Like I'm a comedian. I'm happy. I'm really like satisfied, and I'm trying to do it more. But I think I don't know. It's already hard enough, right? It's already like you're never gonna be a completely functional human being, no matter how hard you try. So might as well be grateful with your progress, and might as well be grateful with your trends, your direction. You know, I mean, I went from a person who didn't like 3 years ago, before I started doing martial arts, I had never had a passion in my whole life. I started martial arts, I had a passion. Fuck, I really like this. I want to do it often. Then I realized I couldn't do that for a living, and also I probably didn't like it enough to do it for a living. A lot, but not enough to do it for a living. And then I found comedy. I looked and I found it. And then in the last, and that's been what, a year and a half journey. And then in the last couple of months, I've actually done it, and I've actually committed to it, and I've told myself, and I've acted like a comedian. I would say I'm these 2.5 months that I've been doing it, I've been consistent, and I'm proud of myself. You know, I can be better. I want to be better, but I'm fucking, I don't know. I'm trending in the right direction. You know, I went from I used to joke with my friends that dating me is like buying Apple stock in the 80s, because I'm only getting better. You know, and. I don't know. I mean, I went from a kid that wanted to kill himself at 8 years old, to at 12 having a friend, to at 15 knowing how to interact, to, I don't know, losing weight and being healthier overall. Now like from surviving to actually enjoying my day to day. So I don't know. I think something that we like everyone struggles with is appreciating what they're doing.
Now when you wake up, do you feel happy?
Yeah, I do. I can feel stressed sometimes. I can feel nervous about some parts of my day, but I try to slap myself in the face and be like, Bruno, what the fuck are you doing? Don't be a bitch. You know, you have this great life. You have all of these things, and And I still need to remind myself. I hope I get to a point where it's the default. But I do remind myself, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm in a great relationship. I have comedy. I have a job that I'm not passionate about, and as you said, I probably wouldn't do it if I wasn't getting paid. But within what it is, it's a pretty nice job that allows me to do comedy, and things are looking pretty okay, you know, if not great. So I don't know. It's about exercising gratefulness, right? Mm-hmm. It's about like taking the time to be like, I don't know, just fuck. We're doing so well, Moni. Like even when we're not, we are. You know, like there's too many good things in life to complain, and there's too many opportunities as well, right? Like
you are ranting.
I'm ranting.
Okay,
sorry.
Let's go to the last question. So, what's your favorite comedy special?
Fuck. I really liked the last one from Chappelle. I don't know if you watched it already.
Stick and Stones?
No. He released one like 3 days ago.
Where is it?
On Netflix. It's called The Closer. It's
okay.
Good.
Let's wrap it up. Time to watch comedy.
But other than that, I would say Tom Segura's Ball Hog is a fucking masterpiece.
Okay. Cool.
Do I need to say why? Or?
I'm not interested anymore. I want to watch comedy now.
Okay.
Okay.
Just Ball Hog, you have to watch it. You probably watched it already. Watch Ball Hog. It's so good.
Cool. Dear audience, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and it's time for some Netflix. Good night.